Hello, it's Tedious. We are with CCTV, Crowd Control TV. We are outside the O2 right now. I was just heading off to a Don Toliver show, and yeah, let's get into it. My first ever music video was for a guy called Stakes. He's from my hometown. Shout out Stakes, that's gang. He's very much a building block for everything you've seen now. It was a song called Pixie Dust. There was LJ and Joe from the Roster, a band who was local to us as well. They were all on the song. It samples the Pixies' Where's My Mind, which is from Fight Club at the end scene. And it was the first time that I actually lent into this stuff, and I very much lent into like digital effects, but I had no idea how to do it. So I did it in the most messed up way. I did it frame by frame on a software that weren't even After Effects. I was just cutting it up and like placing it on top of the frames, and I turned it into like he's in a flood, and we were like, in fact, let me tell you the story of how that happened. There was a flood in our hometown. We were like, that'd be hard for a music video. So we ran to this flood. My boy Stakes is in a booty mask, some expensive drip, like swaggy fit, and he just ruined them. And I was in a wetsuit, just in the depth of this flood. But it came out crazy. I turned it into like a skeleton and made like lightning hit him and stuff. And in reality, it's kind of shit, but I like how almost abstract and weird it is now. Like it's fun, and I almost want to do it again. So shout out Stakes, that's gang. You know what? It was very hard to be taken in, and that's a main reason I do what I do and try and give back, because there was always, there's always the 4-hour journeys or to get here and back and all the above. But I think it was more time just about getting involved. I was filming hella shit for free. I was showing my face wherever I could, and I was always leaning into a niche of the alternate stuff, because that's what I truly adored, and I think that kind of helped in itself, because you've got to love it to be involved in it. But yeah, the main issues I was facing, and still do to this day, is getting here. It's very long, but it's worth, and it's special, so I'd probably say that. Well. BURTON. What was it like growing up? It's a cozy spot. There's not much going on. Derby's down the road. There's not a massive rap scene. Derby's got a good scene going on. There's a few men that rap from BURTON, and they're all very talented in their own right. Alternate wise, it weren't really heard of. That's why I leant towards Stakes, my friend, because he was really one of the only ones that actually leaned into anything alternate. There's a few people. There's like L-Plate. There's Jordo, there's Iddy blew up from BURTON, he's sick. There's a few creatives, and I still try and get involved with them now. There's my guy Jay that films music vids too. He's doing really well for himself at the moment. But yeah, there ain't too much going on. It was almost looked down upon to be doing this when I first started. I used to get bullied for making YouTube vids and shit, but now it's working. It's proven itself, and I think I'm not mad at it. I'm almost proud to say that. I'm proud to say I didn't turn away and shy away from something I love. So I think that's sick. But yeah, we brew Carlin. If you ever buy a pint of Carlin, you can see BURTON on that. Nathan Dawes down the road from me, he DJs. He's got songs with like KSI and JK and shit. Damn, yeah, like an England football team trained down the road. That's about it for real. But yeah, it's a cool little spot for real.
Try ask me how I bang. She tell me so the bang.
Now this is actually a really fun story, and I'm actually happy to tell this. So Tedious, or TDS, are my initials. And funnily enough, when I was younger, my sister was supposed to be MES, right? Because my grandma her name is Elizabeth. But then my mom and dad realised, that spells mess. They were like, why would we call our kid Mess? And then funnily enough, it was because of my dad giving me the middle name David that I ended up being called TDS, which is Tedious. And I just thought that was so funny that they realised Mess but didn't realise Tedious. And I was like, I'm going to play on that. And I think another thing that inspired me running with that was the fact it means boring. It means monotone. It means, long. And I like the fact that I make eccentric, crazy, random visuals and play into eccentric music and stuff that breaks boundaries, and the fact it's so juxtaposed of being completely boring to the most random crazy shit you've ever seen. I think that's fun. And it's like 8 Mile Eminem, where he disses himself. It's like if people see my page and it's called Tedious, they can't really say it's boring because it's already called boring, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, it's a fun little story. That's how Tedious came around.
I get the party lit, how I let them run them know, how I.
The first camera I ever had was a Sony A5100, I think. And that was the first music video I ever filmed was on that. And then I filmed a couple vlogs, but I haven't really used that since. It was a moment. It's still in my room. I still could use it. In fact, I might use it for a music video just as a throwback one day. But yeah, the camera I use nowadays is technically still now my first camera. Since I started professionally, I've always used the same camera. It's a kit lens and a Sony A7 III. And people always judge the kit lens, but it helps with the buzzing edits and me moving really fast because it's portable and light. And I think, you know what, like, if it works and it's not broken, don't try and fix it. So I run with that all the time, and that's me. The concept behind Tedious Tapes. So I realized as I was seeing success and seeing all these crazy people and being put in rooms where I could only ever dream of, I realized I was kind of leaving something behind which was intrinsic to me and that I loved, and that was like the underground space. And I felt like my budgets were going too high for people that maybe were starting out, like people who are youthful and don't have the, like, shit, when I was 16 I didn't have £200 to throw on a music vid. Do you get it? So I started tapes as a way of giving back to people I utterly and truly believe in. I have a lot of quality control to it. I'm only covering people that I truly like have my bets on. Like, here's the chips I'm putting on these people. Bow, discover them. And that's why I want to cover people that are also a little less known too. Because, you know, I've got a bigger platform nowadays, and I actually started something similar called Tedious Takes like 2 years ago. But I realized I hadn't built myself up enough yet to even provide that platform, and that's why I've done it now. So yeah, Tedious Tapes is about giving back and providing a platform for people that deserve to be heard and showing off new music. You know, that's life. That's what I love. So that's why I do it. Okay, so Tedious Presents. Yeah, this is a big moment. Tedious Presents started because I realized a lot of what I was doing was through a screen. And I you know, intrinsically something that motivates me is people. I like to be around people. I like emotion. I like seeing stuff and feeling alive. And sometimes, you know, it's dystopian, all the stuff we do behind screens. And I started Tedious Presents to kind of give back to the community that I'd built, as well as the people I'd been around. So, I mean, the first show I ever did was just a full lineup of people that I considered my friends. Like, we didn't deep it any further than that. We just brought something to fruition and made it happen. And that the first one did insanely well. It had I think we had 230 people, which for a first show was nuts. Like, I didn't expect. I remember writing down on my notes beforehand. Steve can back this up. Steve or Stunner. I literally wrote we'll get 100 people. And I expected, I had a smart goal and I expected the worst, and so I couldn't get disappointed, but in reality I got blown away, and I think that's beautiful. And yeah, I did the first one with a co-promoter team called Psych. They helped behind the scenes too, because I had no idea about shows. I'd never booked one myself. Steve also helped too. But the second one I did completely independently, which was just last month. I booked Hauser, I booked Mies, I booked Anula from Toronto. Shout out her, she is absolutely shelling it, and I guarantee she will blow up very, very soon. Viren, EJ, my goat, she's one of the reasons I even started doing events, as well as Orcs London. Shout out those guys too. They were really an inspiration and a blueprint toward these type of things. Steve again, yeah, the whole gang. Anytime I do a show, just know these people I'm booking because I truly resonate with them as people too. It's deeper than the music itself, and I will always say that deeper than music is my thing. But yeah, I done the second one completely independent. I had a bit of help from Anula's management in regards to getting out here. But yeah, from front facing, I got Rets to do the poster. All the money that went into it was from my own pocket. And it was a moment, and it's what I love. And you know, there's a lot of anxiety toward them. There's a lot of things that go wrong behind the scenes, but you kind of have to take it in your stride and just do your best, you know. I myself suffer quite badly with anxiety, and so many panic attacks, bro, especially the first one. But you know, I got through them, and you just kind of have to believe in yourself and make yourself uncomfortable, else you're never going to break those boundaries that you kind of give yourself. So yeah. defining moment was a guy called Aries. I used to do reaction videos to him back in the day, and that's kind of what stemmed me even making music videos too. He seen my reaction videos, and when I attended one of his concerts, he actually saw me in the crowd and went, "You're the reaction guy, I know you," and all this stuff. And after that moment, he actually reached out and saw, and I explained to him that I wanted to do videos, I wanted to shoot concerts and stuff. And he actually invited me to shoot one of his shows in London, and that was I think it was actually one of the first shows I ever did. And to be with someone of that profound understanding and has, you know, hundreds of thousands of fans around the world, for him to just give me that opportunity completely out of kindness was beautiful to me. And you know, that changed my perception of everything. Like it made me realize that I could do this, and I could try to do this. So I have to thank Aries times 100. I will always mention his name. He was already an inspiration of mine before making music videos myself. I even mentioned that earlier. He actually was the first page I wrote about in my inspiration book at uni. I even showed it him myself. So yeah, I'd have to say Aries. That was such a formidable moment in my career. So yeah. So this is actually a really, really difficult question. So it's actually really hard because I almost love everything I've done to the most insane degree because it's part of the process. But if I was to like choose one moment, obviously I did just mention Aries, but I think I'd have to go with Midwest. He was like, again, another really inspirational character in my life, and one of the first music videos I truly like was blown away by and took inspiration from making my first one. My first one with Stakes was entirely inspired by that one because it was glitchy, it used RGB effects, and it was hyperpop, and that's what I leaned into. And it was shooting for Midwest show, I think last year for Room 6, shout out Zook and those man. It was shooting that show when he played the actual song itself, Trying, which I said inspired that music video with Stakes. I was stood behind him and I put my camera down and I went, wow. Like everyone had their phone torches up. I was taking it in and I was like, this is beautiful. I'm actually here. And you know, it's stuff like that. Sometimes, especially videographers, we struggle to take things in because we're always behind a camera. Whereas in that moment, I did feel alive, and I think that's a beautiful thing, and that's why it resonates with me so much. So I'd say the Midwest show. A couple artists I could put you onto. I have a playlist called Tedious Tracks. If you want to find a bunch of people that I really fuck with, go to there, or the Tedious Tapes, the new series. But if I was to name 5 people off the tongue right now, I'm going to do it. No bias. This is just the people that came into mind right now. So I'd have to say 3-2. His new song Baby Cakes, please listen to it. It's fucking sick. It interpolates the song Baby Cakes, you just don't know now. But he's made it completely his own, self-prod. He's a talented guy. The video is shot by Marley too, which is insane. I'd have to say I really like Lev Zer. He's mad. He's like 15, 16. I think he's just turned 16. And he actually takes time with what he writes his music too. And as much as he's rapping and he's a kid at the end of the day, he cares about what he's rapping, and he plays with words. Like when I done his shoot for Reverse the other week, he stood around with us lot and he was just telling us what he wrote and how the bars were bars and it was just so funny. But it's cool to see him take such an interest in what he does, and I think that's sick. So he very much should be on your radar. He's great. As much as she's very much in the spotlight now, I always want to mention Led by Her. I think she's fucking sick. Like, and she's very much herself. She has fun with it. Oopsie too. He's just now got a lot of his flowers, and I think that's beautiful because he's been doing this stuff and he's always cared about his craft and had fun with it, and he's always unapologetically himself. Like, his bars are crazy obnoxious, and I think that's why I love him though. I don't want to compare, and I also don't think it's super comparable, but it's almost like Eminem back in the day, like the obnoxious over your head bars. You're like, what? Did he just say that? Can he say that? Like, it almost makes you think twice, and I think, you know, we kind of lost that recently, and I think that's really cool. And then 5th person, I'd have to say, you know what, I don't mention him enough, but Steve. Like, Steve was very much a big part of my process, and I still think to this day he deserves the love, and you know, he deserves his flowers too. He's consistently just great, and I feel like people don't take him in enough still to this day. Like, he should be at the heights of like all the cool like E-Man and stuff, I feel like Steve should be getting just as many flowers as those man, and that's no hate to them. That's more so I'm just saying I really believe in Steve, and I think he's a great guy and his music's sick, so I'd have to say Steve too. Where do I see myself in 5 years? Now, I've always struggled with this question because it's hard to predict, you know, these things are pretty non-linear, but I want to say I want to be happy. I want to be in a place where I can effectively give back to everyone and anyone who's built me to this place now, and I just want to be like, not content, because I feel like content can also weigh you down in a sense, but I want to be happy in myself and happy with who I surround myself with, and be in a place of comfort. I want my own home. I'll be living with my parents still. I'm big 24 and I live with my parents. But yeah, I see myself still doing what I do now. I never want it to stop. I think this is what I'm made for, and maybe putting on a whole festival in my hometown or something. Like that's one of the biggest dreams I've always had, is like making Burton cool as fuck. Like, because anytime I have to explain Burton, everyone's like, where's that? I'm like, oh, do you know where Derby is? Sometimes they don't even know where Derby is. I have to say Birmingham. Do you know how peak that is? Like, so I'd say giving Burton a face, putting Burton on the map. I guess that's kind of corny to say, but I feel it though. Yeah, I see myself. Damn, bus is loud as hell. I see myself just having fun with it. There's always, the most important thing is just make sure it's fun. So I'd say that.
Yeah. Might go out. Tell him again, yeah, I might.
How important is community to our scene? So I think community is the reason we even have music. Like music was made because of community. It was for enjoyment. It's for escapism. And I think without community, there wouldn't be music, you know? Music's to be shared, music's to be loved, music's to make memories. More time, you probably have a favourite song that you remember a certain moment from it. Like, I remember when Eternal Atate came out, for example. I remember coming back from uni, everyone was in the courtyard of my uni quarters, and everyone was bumping it outside, and we all just sat around like, oh, this song's crazy tough. Blah, blah, blah. I remember first day, I think it was Pop, and everyone was like, oh fuck, like everyone started turning up and making a mini mosh pit in our uni hall. So yeah, I'd have to say community is like massive. Without community, we wouldn't have music, and community to me means the most, and is, you know, as much as it's extrinsic by help and bringing up the videos, it also is intrinsic because, you know, you can share these moments, you can be a part of something, and it's nice there is one now. When I first started, like the alt stuff, there weren't even that much of a thing going on. It was almost rarer to find, whereas as now there's a new show every 2 weeks, like, and maybe every week, and there's new people getting involved and having fun with it, and I think that's sick. So community is, if not is the most important thing about it, and even I wouldn't be here without everyone that supports my thing too. So thank you if you do that.